What's going to happen at the end of the world? Are we living in the last days? Has the rapture already happened? These are questions that have been plaguing Christians for decades. And with so many crazy things happening in the news, it's hard to know what's fact and what is fiction when it comes to the end times. So let's take some time to look at what the Bible actually says about the end and how it applies to us today. I've divided this message into 3 sections. The Old Testament prophecies about the end, Jesus' teachings in Matthew 24, and Revelation's visions explained simply. Let's dive right in. We can see the beginnings of end times prophecy in the Old Testament. Daniel, in particular, has some vivid imagery that helps set the stage for what's to come. We'll look at Daniel chapter 12 verses 11 to 13. From the time that order is given to restore the city of Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince lays his claim to the throne, there will be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. Then there will be a terrible king. None of his hordes or vast riches will help. When the time of punishment comes, his power will be destroyed and nothing will be left to him. But the people of the nation, the holy ones, will be delivered. And you, my people, will know the God of Israel will be your personal God. You will recognize the stone that was rejected by the builders, the cornerstone of the temple. First, he's talking about a period of time from the time that Jerusalem is ordered to be rebuilt. They get their second chance. They're gonna start building the city again, and then the coming of the Messiah. That's gonna be 7 weeks, 62 weeks. That's a total of 490 years, which would take us right around the year 2020, give or take a few years. And then after that, there's gonna be a very destructive king, maybe even the Antichrist. He rises up, but he doesn't last long because the people are rescued and they know that the God of Israel is their God. And they also realize that Jesus is the cornerstone that the builders rejected, but it's become the chief cornerstone. In Isaiah 2, we read that in the last days, it will be like the mountain of the Lord's house. It will be established as the highest place of the earth, and all nations will stream into it. Many peoples will come and say, "Come, let's go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. There he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths." The tourney for many peoples will be one who will teach us that the Lord of hosts has commanded. Isaiah is saying that the last days will be a time when God's house will be established as the highest place on earth. People from every nation will come and worship the Lord. This is a great reminder that the gospel is for everyone, not just for those of us who live in the West or have certain backgrounds. It's for everyone who wants to put their faith in Jesus. As we move into the New Testament, we find more specific teachings about the end of the age. In Matthew 24, Jesus teaches his disciples about what will happen when he begins his return. He starts off by telling them, "Don't be confused. All these things must happen, but the end is not yet here. Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning pains of labor." Jesus is saying that before he returns, there will be signs that something big is about to happen. Some people think that being born again is hard, but becoming a disciple of Jesus is harder. If you've never confessed Jesus as Lord, I encourage you to do so right now. As you can see, things aren't going to get any easier as time goes on. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and will kill you, and you will be hated by all the nations for my name's sake. At that time, many will be offended and will betray one another and will hate one another. Many false prophets will rise up and deceive many. Because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. But he who endures till the end shall be saved. Here, Jesus warns his followers that they will face persecution, and some will even die because of their faith. But he encouraged them to hold on to their faith, no matter what happens. He assures them that those who endure till the end will be saved. But the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. As we move into Matthew 25, Jesus gives more details about his return. He tells them that the sun will be darkened, the moon won't shine, the stars will fall, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. This is similar to what we heard in Isaiah earlier. The only difference is that Jesus is more specific about what will happen. He tells them that when the sign of the Son of Man appears, he will return with power and great glory and gather his elect from all over the world. This is a powerful image of Jesus returning to take his followers home. However, Jesus gives another warning before he leaves. He tells them that the time of judgment is coming. The Son of Man will send his angels to gather his sheep. But what will happen to the goats? Those who didn't listen to his message and rejected his offer of salvation will be sent away into eternal punishment. So what does all this mean for us? First, we need to be aware of what's going on in the world. Jesus tells us that there will be wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes, and famines. So we should pay attention to what's happening around us and be ready for anything. Second, we need to remember that Jesus is coming back again. He tells us to lift up our heads because our redemption is drawing near. No matter what happens, we can be confident that Jesus is in control and he will return to take us home. Third, we need to keep our eyes on Jesus. Don't get caught up in the hype of the world. Keep your eyes on Jesus. He is our hope and our strength. And now, let's move into Revelation, the last book of the Bible. It's full of symbolic language that helps us understand what's going on in the spirit realm. Revelation is sometimes hard to understand, so I'm going to do my best to break down some of the most important visions. In Revelation, John sees a scroll with 7 seals, but no one is worthy to open it. John sees an open scroll, and this shows that God is in control of everything that's going to happen in the future. Once the scroll is opened, each seal represents a different event that will take place in history. For example, when the second seal is broken, John hears a voice saying, "To the one who conquers, I will grant the right to use both the white and golden standard." This could refer to the rise of a global currency or financial system. When the third seal is broken, John hears someone saying, "A quart of wheat for a day's wages. But look, they're selling the right amount of grain to make sure they don't run out." This sounds like the beginning of a famine. And when the fourth seal is broken, John hears a voice saying, "A quarter of the world by sword, by hunger, by plague, and by the birds that prey on them." This seems to describe a time of great suffering. John then sees 5 angels that have been sealed, and their mission is to preach the gospel to those who have not yet heard it. This reminds us that God is still working in the world and that the gospel is still being spread. He then sees a battle between the forces of good and evil, and it's a reminder that we are in a spiritual war. However, in the end, the forces of good win the victory and the kingdom of God is established on earth. After this, John sees the New Jerusalem coming down from God, and it's a vision of the ultimate victory. The New Jerusalem represents the dwelling place of God among men, and it's a reminder that our hope is in God. So what does all this mean for us? First, we need to remember that God is in control of everything that's happening in the world. No matter what we hear in the news or what we see on social media, God is still on the throne. Second, we need to keep our eyes on Jesus. He is our hope and our strength. Don't get caught up in the fear and anxiety of the world. Look to Jesus, who is the author and the perfecter of our faith. Finally, we need to remember that God is still working in the world. Don't focus on the negative. Instead, look for the opportunities to share the gospel and make disciples. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please like and share so others can see it too. Also, if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.